Hello. I'm going to talk to you about taking an unconventional route. Most of us throughout our lives feel under pressure to make decisions that will lead us down the right path. And a lot of you here today will be making decisions soon about your career and about your future. For some of you, this is very clear, but for some of you, it might not be, and it wasn't for me. If you don't want to be a doctor or a lawyer, then your path isn't so clear. Should you go to university? If you do, what should you study? And will you be able to get a job doing that thing at the end? If you've asked yourself any of these questions, then you're definitely not on your own. I've asked them myself. But what I do believe is that for many of us who don't always fit in, taking an unconventional route can still mean that you can be successful. I'm going to explain why I believe this. My first year of school was great. But in my second year, I had a very inexperienced teacher and a very large class, and I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I would start daydreaming, and I would talk to myself and sing to myself, and this didn't make me very popular. I became very unhappy. But luckily for me, I had parents who didn't mind breaking the rules and doing something different. In fact, they were both expelled from school. So when they saw that I was unhappy, they took me out. And they hoped that they'd find a better option. So a teacher would visit me once a week, and I started to really understand things that up until then made absolutely no sense to me at all. But after a while, my parents decided that I was quite happy, and so I carried on. They didn't want to find a place that I could fit into, but they decided to create something that would fit me. So my sister joined in with me, and we found amazing teachers and other students, and we became a proper school of 11 teachers and 10 students. And our school was made up of a complete mix of people of very different backgrounds and ages and interests, but the one thing that we all shared was that we didn't fit in. And apart from being a great way to learn, this really showed me that we don't have to do the same things as everybody else is doing. We can always do something different. So I finished my A-levels, and I had a wonderful education, but I had no idea what to do next. And the problem with having such supportive parents is that they don't tell you what to do. They let you make your own decision. But this is very difficult and quite scary. But I started teaching, kind of ironically, and I would go to children's houses and I would teach them art. And after a while, I started to see that I wasn't just doing teaching. I wasn't just teaching them a lesson that they could put something down on paper. I was helping them to express themselves. And this led me on to working with this amazing boy, my first real student, and he had Asperger's syndrome. And when we started working, he was incredibly nervous, and he would just do tiny, tiny drawings in biro, and if they didn't look like the thing he was trying to capture, he'd scrunch it up and throw it in the bin before I'd even seen it. I had no idea what to do. How do I deal with this? But I got to know him, and I got to see the things that he loved and that he was interested in, and I tried using those as my way in to communicate with him. And suddenly he opened up. I asked him to draw from his mind, and he did these incredible paintings and drawings. And he also opened up in the way he spoke, and he was honest with me, and he was fun. And it really showed me how powerful this could be, that he could express something that he couldn't normally say through words. I'm very proud that he's now at Art College doing his foundation and really making amazing work. But this really led me towards art therapy, which, if you don't know what that is, it's using art as a way of communicating and expressing something that you can't necessarily say through words. And I studied a course here in Bath, and I carried on teaching. And both of these things really helped me to shape my own way of teaching, my own style. It wasn't something that I learned through training to be a teacher, but I worked with amazing children, and they actually taught me. They told me when I was doing a good job, and when I wasn't doing a good job. And I can't think of a better way to learn than that. And a lot of the children I worked with came from all different backgrounds and had very different interests, and every one of them would teach me a new approach. When I presented them with something new, a new material, they would use it in a completely different way that I hadn't ever imagined before. And this was very inspiring, and it also showed me that I couldn't teach them in the same way, because every one of them was going to interpret what I said in a very different way. So I had to fit them. That was what I realized was the real skill in teaching. So since beginning teaching, I've been involved in lots of projects in education and the arts, from working in Frome, doing filmmaking with dyslexic students, to working in psychiatric wards in Belgrade. And at the moment, I'm still teaching, and I'm training to be a counsellor. So my next step is to create a new kind of school, a new kind of approach to education, based on what I've learned as a student and as a teacher. I want to use this experience to build a school that will fit its students, rather than the other way around. It'll be challenging, and it'll be exciting, and it'll definitely be unconventional. Thank you very much.